Hey guys, it's Peter Day here. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm coming at you from Florida. If you've been following the channel, I was talking about how I've been taking this trip to Florida for about a month. My family and I live in the Northeast in the USA, but we just wanted to get out of the cold, and we ended up booking an Airbnb. We've been in Florida for a couple weeks. We have a couple weeks left, but it's been beautiful here. I'm squinting in this video because the sun is really bright and I don't have any glasses on, so just ignore that. But this is a little bit of where I'm making this video. So we got the beach, this nice pool back there, and we are just so grateful to be here. And this video is going to tell a little bit about our story, because this was kind of a dream of ours to work from home and to not have a boss, and to really be entrepreneurs and self-employed. And we kind of always believed that we could do it, but I just want to give you guys some inspiration in this video, because here's the thing. I've seen too many people just give up very, very easily. And what I mean by that is there's a few people that I was talking to. So about 400 people took our course. We made a course with Charles Noe last year, and about 400 people took the course during the first launch. And out of those 400 people, there was a lot of success stories. We had people that were able to do over $10,000 a day of revenue. We've had a lot of success stories. Like, we've been able to accumulate a lot of the success stories, but then there's been a lot of successes that that haven't necessarily actually come out and said, I'm having success. But then there's been a couple people that have not really stuck with it. And I want to speak to that because you have to stick with this to make it work long term. So what I mean by that is, out of these different individuals that took the course, there was two individuals that recently came, and one guy recently said he was taking a break from affiliate marketing. He was like, you know what, I'm just taking a break. I'm kind of tired of some campaigns working, some not working. And I was nice to him and I said, take a break, come back, whatever, right? This guy's just a student. But the thing is, if you really want to succeed in this industry, you cannot have this mentality of giving up. You know what I mean? It almost has to be not an option. So when my brother and I started, we were both in college, and basically we had this mentality where it was all or nothing. And what I mean by that is, when my brother and I were in college, we did not want to do the normal thing, because here's what happened. When I was in high school, I read all of these books like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy. We listened to Tony Robbins stuff. Like, my brother and I, we were so inundated with like this personal development stuff that we just couldn't see ourselves having a boss and working for someone else. Like, literally, when I was like 16 years old, I was working a little sales job. It was Cutco Knives, actually. I don't know if you guys have heard of Cutco Knives, but I was working that when I was 16. And when I was driving around doing that job, I was listening to all of these audios. So I was listening to the Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, all those names that I mentioned, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And they were telling you, you know, don't work for someone else. Don't follow your the normal way, right? So it was so hard for me. I became like anti-job, right? So like, for me, I was listening to all that stuff at about 16 years old, 17 years old. I went to college and I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be graduating from college and just doing the job thing. I just don't want to work for someone else. I don't want to be sitting behind a desk. I don't want someone telling me what to do. And I just knew that there had to be a better way. So my brother and I started internet marketing. We started affiliate marketing. And it was no instant success. We failed for like 3 years. And when I say failed, it wasn't utter failure, but we never really had a breakthrough through. Like whatever money we made, we later just lost it on some other campaign. Like for example, we made like $6,000 of profit this one year, and then we ended up just losing it very quickly when we tried some alternative traffic source or something. Like we were just in this cycle of like never quite having a breakthrough. And but at the same time, we had this philosophy where we were not going to give up. So we kind of had a very all or nothing approach, and this goes back to these students, right? So about 400 or 500 students took the course, many success stories, but then a few were like, I don't know, I'm giving up. I'm taking a break from affiliate marketing. And the thing is, if you have this kind of wimpy mindset, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be difficult to succeed in a large way, I believe, because how can you succeed as an entrepreneur if you're just going to give up on affiliate marketing, if you're just going to give up on internet marketing, if you're just going to give up on your dreams? Like, how are you going to succeed if you just have this mentality of so easily giving up? So when Tyler and I were in college, we had this mentality where we were not going to give up. So I went to University of Connecticut, and what's the expectation when you graduate? The expectation is when you graduate from any college, the expectation is that you're working, that you have a job. And I knew that if I didn't make something happen in my business, that my family, my parents that paid for the university, they were going to be on my case, right? There was no way that I was going to graduate from university and my parents were going to just let me be a bum or whatever, right? So I knew that if I didn't do something in my business, that I was just going to have all this pressure to get a job. And I just did not want a job. It's just, I was not wired for a job. I was wired to be my own boss and company owner. And so anyway, my brother and I started doing this internet marketing stuff, and we failed. But we had this like all or nothing approach. So I literally said to myself, I said, I am going to graduate in 4 years from this college, and I'm not going to get a job. I'm going to graduate, and I am going to be full-time in internet marketing. Like, that's what I said. And I said, I don't care what it takes. I don't care if I have to stay up until 2 in the morning. I don't care if I have to go to school, do homework, and do internet marketing every single night until 1 in the morning. I don't care what it takes, but I'm going to graduate, and I'm not going to get a job. I'm not going to sit behind a cubicle or a desk. I'm not going to report to someone else. I'm going to graduate, and this is going to work. And we had this very all or nothing mindset. And it was so all or nothing that my grades really suffered in college. So this is an interesting story. So I was working so hard on my business that I was not really going to a lot of classes. I was really slacking off, and I was so out of the loop in terms of university. So I was going to University of Connecticut, and I was so out of the loop that I wasn't checking my school email. So they set you up with like a University of Connecticut email. I was so detached from school and so into my businesses that I never, ever even logged into the UConn email, like, ever. And it was all fine until this happened. So basically, I was so out of the loop with the entire school thing that I didn't even know that you had to like get a certain GPA. So for me, I thought that if you got all C's and D's, you could pass, which is kind of true, but not really. Because some schools have requirements, like you have to have a 2.0 GPA or a 2.5 or 1.8. Like there's some kind of minimum. So, but I didn't know that. So I went to UConn. I skipped like half of my classes. I got like straight C's and D's and like everything. Not because I'm stupid, but because I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. Let's just put it that way. But my parents had already paid for all these semesters, and I just felt bad just kind of like screwing over my parents, being like, you paid for all this school, but I'm just going to drop out. So I felt like really respecting my parents and finishing college just because they paid for half of it already. But I didn't want to be there. So what happened was, it was about Christmas break, winter break. about 2 years into university, and I go to check the mailbox, and there's this large envelope in the mailbox, and it says University of Connecticut on it. And I don't think much of it. I say, I don't know, like maybe it's just some newsletter or something. I open this envelope up, and basically it says dismissal letter. Dismissal letter. So basically, I had been going to UConn for 2 years, and I was so focusing on my businesses that I wasn't checking my UConn email. Had I checked my UConn email, I would have noticed that for years they were emailing me, telling me that I had to get my grades up or that I would be put on academic probation. And if I didn't get my grades up after probation, I would be put on like some higher level of probation. And then if I didn't get my grades up from there, I would be dismissed from the school. Well, long story short, I wasn't checking the email, and I was just getting straight C's and D's. My GPA was like 1.9 or something, not because I'm dumb, but because I didn't care to do the school thing much. And I never really failed the classes. I just passed like all of them with C's and D's, but it wasn't enough to meet the minimum requirements. So basically what happened is this one winter break, I open my mailbox, I get this huge envelope, and it's basically a formal dismissal letter. I was basically terminated from the university completely. Like it complete dismissal. Like, you are no longer a student, no longer enrolled. We are kicking you out of UConn. And I was like, shoot. Because at this point, I was like an entire halfway through. My parents were so, like, if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, my parents were literally like the poor dad or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they were so, go to school, get a job. And I was, oh my goodness, now I've been kicked out of school. What the heck am I going to tell them? And what did I do next? Well, basically, I told my parents that I was kicked out of school, and I actually thought it was an opportunity to stay out of school. I'm like, you know what, I've been kicked out of school, maybe this is an opportunity to never go back. And they're like, you know what, we've paid like 40 grand for you to do half of school. You have to respect us and finish. So basically, there was this whole process of getting back into school. But what I realized during this process is that I don't regret any of it. I honestly don't regret any of it. Because here's what happened. I had to talk to my guidance counselor. And we had started getting some success at this point in our business. And I had to meet with my guidance counselor at school. And my guidance counselor asked why I get dismissed from school. Like, why do your grades are so bad? And I shared with him the business. And he was curious, and he was asking about how much we were making and how much revenue. And basically, I was able to tell this guidance counselor that I literally had like a $200,000 a year income coming in from this business. And my guidance counselor was very encouraging. He's like, man, like, honestly, my guidance counselor was literally like, dude, you are making more money than me, and I work at this school. You're like 20 years old. And my guidance counselor was like, it was just very encouraging, because I had my parents saying the business is a joke or whatever. It was mostly my dad. My mom was always supportive, but my dad was like, get a real job kind of mentality, right? But then I had the guidance counselor. He was like, man, I think you're doing something right. I think you're doing something right here. And what I ended up doing was I ended up respecting my parents, because they had paid all this money for me to go halfway through school. So I basically negotiated with my guidance counselor, and he was able to get me back into school. He was able to get me back in. And I worked harder and harder on my business. And what happened was, in the beginning of college, it was a dream. And a lot of you guys have a dream. You want to not work that job. How many of you guys are working a job that are watching this video and you don't want to work that job anymore? You have to come up with whatever your dream is, to quit that job and to be full-time working from home. Whatever your dream is, you need to be clear on what you want and your goals, and then you have to stick with it. So when I entered into college, it was just a dream. It was just a dream to not have a job. It was just a dream not to be in a cubicle. It was just a dream not to report to some boss. But then the dream started becoming reality. 2 years in, and when I say we, my brother had joined efforts with me. So I started all of this stuff myself, and then my brother partnered with me about a year or two later. So at this point, it was me and my brother. And we were working so hard at this internet stuff that I was like flunking out of school. I got kicked out of school. And then I ended up getting back into school, and I ended up graduating. But what was a dream ended up becoming a reality. Not because I was smarter than everyone else. I went to UConn. There's a lot of people that went to Harvard that have not even had the business kind of success that we had. Now, on the other hand, there are some that have done tremendous things. So it's not knocking any smart people. But what I'm saying is that my brother and I have not been the smartest people. We've been smart, but we haven't been the smartest in terms of grades, in terms of those kind of things, in terms of reading and those type of things. In fact, for a period of time growing up, I even struggled to read. Reading was difficult for me. For like a 4 or 5 year period of time, I just couldn't focus on it, couldn't pay attention to it. But I believe one of the reasons why it worked out for us is because we worked very hard. So when I was at University of Connecticut, I wasn't focusing much on my classes, but I was focusing on my business. And this goes back to the job thing. You guys are watching this, right? You're not going to University of Connecticut probably. You're probably working a job. You're probably working that 9 to 5. You have some kind of job. Maybe it's in an ad agency. Maybe it's in some random industry unrelated to internet marketing. Maybe you're in the criminal justice. Whatever you're doing, you probably have a job. If you don't have a job, congratulations, because you're kind of living the dream or whatever, right? You've kind of passed that stage in your business. But a lot of you guys watching are working a job. And for me, I was doing school at University of Connecticut. And even though I had to go to school until 3 p.m. and do homework until 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., I was up every night, almost every night until midnight, 2, 3 in the morning, working on my business. There was one night where I was so into what I was doing in business that I actually was up until almost 5:30 in the morning doing business. I never partied in college one single time at University of Connecticut because I was focused on my business. I was focused on my business, right? So it's like all these other kids graduated from UConn with no job. Some got a job, but then my brother and my brother went to a different school. He went to South Carolina University. But basically, because we worked so hard and because we were disciplined and because we had this, it was no option. I said to myself, I'm graduating and I am not working a job. I am not getting a job. I'm doing this full time. There's no choice. Absolutely no choice. So you guys have to have this mentality where there is no plan B. If you have plan B, you're already kind of screwed in a sense for hitting your dream, right? If you say, oh, I hope I succeed in internet marketing, but my plan B is to just continue working the job I've always been working for like 20 more years. It's like, how the heck are you really gonna have some significant breakthrough if you even have this other plan? Now, I'm not saying quit the job tomorrow, but I'm saying even if you have a job, you say to yourself, I am going to be full-time in internet marketing. I'm gonna make this work. And I don't care if it takes 2 years. I don't care if it takes 6 months. I don't care if it takes 7 years. But I am leaving that job and I'm doing this internet marketing stuff full-time, and I'm not working for someone else. I'm working from home. I'm being my own boss. You have to have this mentality. Now, what happened was we worked so hard on our business that it did get successful. It got more and more successful every month, every year. By the time I graduated from college, my last year in college, I met my wife when I was at University of Connecticut. And we actually were able to buy a house on mortgage, down payment, the whole 9 yards. We were able to buy a house my last year at UConn, full out purchase a house when I was still in undergraduate college. No, I'm not bragging saying I'm the only one that's ever done that. There's obviously been some successful people in university. But I'm going to be honest, there's probably not a single student in my graduating class at UConn, or any of the graduating classes at UConn around that period of time, that ever made a business successful enough to buy a house by the time they even graduated from the university itself. And that's not to pump us up. It's just saying that if you have a dream and you're persistent and you don't give up, you can hit these goals. I never imagined. It's not like I never imagined. I take that back. That's the wrong word. Sometimes it's just almost overwhelming when the reality of it, the goal, actually comes true. Because I remember when I was listening to those Brian Tracy and those Jim Rohn audios, they told you to write down your goals, right? And my goals were not work for someone else, work from home, never have to have a job, be able to take a vacation whenever you want. And I think one of my goals was like to vacation in Florida whenever I want. It was something like that, right? And it's like, look where we are now. We're in Florida. We're able to take an entire month here. If you're working a job, how are you supposed to go take a month on vacation? And it's not like I'm totally on vacation. I'm working Monday through Friday. But guess what? Every day at noon, I get to go to the beach, go to the pool, and it's like a little vacation for a month. But if you have a job and you go to say your boss, hey boss, I want to go hang out in Florida for a month, and I don't really want to work from noon until like 4. I just want to go and be at the pool. And do you think your boss is actually going to say yes? Maybe if you have a cool boss and a good job. But what I'm saying here, guys, is that just don't give up, okay? Just don't give up. Just don't give up. Because if my brother and I were able to make this work, it's not like we're idiots, but we weren't the sharpest in terms of the academics and Harvard, Yale type of stuff. And it's just, I really believe that you can succeed. But what I know doesn't succeed is giving up. When those two, remember I said that 400 or 500 people took our course? And like 1 or 2 people told me, oh, I'm giving up on affiliate marketing. Do you think those people are going to succeed? Absolutely not. And I said this quote so many years back when I was doing some other coaching stuff. It's actually one of my own personal quotes. The only way to fail in this industry is to give up, okay? It's kind of like a Peter Day quote. The only way to fail is to give up. Because the people that I've seen really be persistent in this industry have really actually succeeded. Like, I know a few folks that were struggling very hard like 6 or 7 years ago in this industry. There was this kid, and I say kid because he was like super young. There was this kid that was like 18 years old, and he was really motivated to make internet marketing work, and he lives in Mexico. And man, this guy was struggling for like 6 years, but he had this mentality that was similar to me and my brother, where he wouldn't give up. And I'm so proud of him because we connected recently, and this guy struggled for a long time. Like, it took him like 7 years to get successful. It took him so long to get successful. Way longer than normal, to be honest. Than some other people have, at least. But it's like, I connected with him recently, and this guy is succeeding. He has a full-out business going in internet marketing. He has like an ad agency. He's doing affiliate marketing. He's handling client campaigns. He does his own affiliate campaigns. He has like this landing page business. The last time I talked to him, like, he has a full-out business. He's in Mexico. And there's nothing wrong with Mexico, but you guys, he was like 18 years old, and he struggled for so long, but he had a similar mindset where he wasn't going to give up, and just kept hacking away at it for like 8 years. And now he's probably making more money than most people working in America at a corporate job. Average salary in America is only like, it's tiny. The average salary in America is like 60 grand or something. 70 grand a year. My friend in Mexico is probably making over at least $180,000 a year, and he's only like 25 years old right now or something. It took him like 7 years to succeed. But again, this guy wasn't that smart. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. He just had this mentality where he wasn't wanting to give up, and he wasn't giving up. So guys, I encourage you that if you've been on the fence, if you've been frustrated, don't be frustrated. Don't be frustrated. Just don't give up. If you need help, contact myself or my brother. My brother's been a little bit more accessible to the general public because I have been working on closing a lot of deals in the business. I've been getting a lot of advertisers, a lot of offers, a lot of clients. I've been working on closing a lot of deals. And but my brother has been more accessible to the students we've been coaching, because my brother and I have been playing different kind of roles in the business. So if you need help, if you're just like, man, I've been struggling, or man, I've been making a little bit of money, but I just need some help from the Day Brothers, or maybe they'll show me a winning campaign, or maybe they'll just help me. My brother has been very accessible to help students. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something that I haven't really done before. I'm going to put below this video a link to my brother's Facebook profile, so you can connect with him on Facebook. Send him a private message if you need help or want to chat with him. I'm going to put a link to his profile under this video, okay? And it's just going to go to his Facebook profile. To send him a private message, tell him that you watch the YouTube videos and you just need some help. You need a winning campaign. You need some coaching. You need to buy our course, whatever. And it's not a plug for the course, right? Whatever you need. Just private message my brother on his Facebook and just ask for help. I'm also going to put an application to become a media buyer. So we have an internal media buying team of 4 media buyers right now that have been running basically a majority of our entire business recently. For the media buying side, we have other sides of the business, like we do have this coaching side and stuff like that. But if you feel like you want to partner with us and actually run some ads for our company as a media buyer, we usually give away a profit share on those campaigns to the media buyers. If that's something of interest of you, click in the link in the YouTube description, and we're going to put a media buyer application, because we are looking for about 1 or 2 very sharp, strong media buyers with the right mentality, right? The whole training video here has been talking about mindset, right? So don't apply to this media buyer thing if you have a wimpy mindset, okay? Apply to this thing if you are like me, if you are like Tyler, where you don't give up. You're a go-getter, okay? So we're looking for go-getters. We're looking for people that are real serious and stuff. So so message my brother if you need help with something in affiliate marketing on Facebook. I'm going to put a link to our blog below. I'm going to put a link to the media buyer application. And guys, this is Peter Day. I'm checking out. I'm going to be making more Florida videos, and then when I get back to the Northeast, I'm going to be making some more videos. I'm going to keep up the video thing. They might just not look as pretty in the Northeast because it's kind of cold up there right now. So guys, this is Peter. I'm checking out, and we'll talk soon. Subscribe to that YouTube channel too. Click that bell, subscribe there, and we'll talk soon. All right, bye.